So I'm going to be on the other side of it. I'm going to take the Patriots with the points here. We went up to training camp this week and we're watching the Patriots. The twos looked really good against the ones on both sides of the ball. So that gives me a little more confidence to bet in New England here. And when I look at the Houston Texans, they are going to start CJ Stroud tonight, the number 2 overall pick. But it's his first taste of live NFL action. He's on the road and he is facing one of the best defensive-minded head coaches of all time. So when I look at that, it's not necessarily an ideal matchup for Stroud to get his first taste of NFL action. Then after him, the Texans are going to go with Davis Mills and Case Keenum. I'm okay with Bailey Zappi, Trace McSorley, and Malik Cunningham. As Jeff was attesting to, Cunningham has been doing a lot of stuff from wide receiver, but he has very good legs. He can run the football, and they're going to work some Wildcat in with him tonight, I'm sure, so that's going to be beneficial. And I don't think it's going to be something this Houston Texans defense handles well down the stretch. Bill Belichick is 15-8 in preseason openers. DeMeco Ryans is making his debut as a head coach. There's just too many unknowns around this Houston Texans team. I'm going to go with the Patriots at home. So I'm going to take the Patriots team total over 16.5 here. The offense did struggle last season, but they finally have an OC with Bill O'Brien. Now, if Bailey Zappi does start or doesn't start, really doesn't affect this play for me. I think having an offensive-minded offensive coordinator, which is crazy to say, the Patriots didn't have that last season, is really going to generate some points for them, especially tonight too. I do like what Trace McSorley can do. I think he's got a lot to prove. And also, when you're looking at Malik Cunningham in this spot, he is going to be able to run the football down the stretch. I look back to DTR in the Hall of Fame game. He was able to really neutralize the Jets defense because of his legs. It's going to be something the Texans aren't ready for tonight. And that's why I like the Patriots to go over 16.5. Houston was also 30th in the NFL in yards allowed per game last season. They were 27th in points allowed per game. So this defense has a lot of work to do. I like the Seattle pick, but I'm going to take a different play here. I'm going to go with the over of 35 points. I think there's going to be a good amount of points put on the board. You got Nick Mullins going for Minnesota, Drew Lock for Seattle. Both those guys have NFL experience. Lock was competing for the starting job last year in Seattle until Geno Smith stepped up. So that shows what the Seattle Seahawks think of him. They think he can put points up on the board. I hope those guys are the ones that are able to do it, because when the backups come in Jaron Hall and Holton Ahlers, I don't have as much faith in those guys under center, but I do like the second string quarterbacks in this spot, especially with the defenses for both sides. Neither team was good on defense last year. Seattle was slightly better, but when you look at the Vikings, they were last in yards allowed per game, and they were third to last in points allowed per game. So I think there's going to be opportunities for both teams to put up points and get this game over 35. Going to go back to a team total for points. I like the Seattle Seahawks to go over 19.5 points here. It's definitely a big ask for any team to get 20 points in a preseason opener. However, for this game, I think it's worth taking. When you look at the Seattle Seahawks, Drew Lock is under center. He's got plenty of experience in the NFL. He competed for a starting job last year, and he's going to be working with an offense that he's been in for over a year now. And you look at who he's going to be throwing to tonight, Jackson Smith-Njigba. I'm sure he's going to get some reps. First receiver off the board in the draft. He was sensational at Ohio State a couple years ago. Last season didn't necessarily go his way because of an injury, but he dominated a receiver room that featured Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave. So that just shows what kind of receiver you're getting out of him. I think he's going to have a big night, and the Seattle team is going to get over 19.5 points.